We are joined by Ari Rudiakov. Am I pronouncing that right?
That's awesome.
We'll get his microphone on in just a moment. Josh is double dipping
Yeah.
over there. There we go.
Rudiakov?
Ari,
Yeah,
we did okay?
did okay.
Oh.
It's been butchered a lot. So spot on.
Well,
Just call me Ari.
mine is Kovac. It's 6 letters, none repeated, and nobody can get it right in spelling or pronunciation.
I think I've
So
always said it right.
You've always gotten it
I'm
right.
one of the few.
You would have
There
gotten
are
me.
there are many.
Would have gotten me. Hi, nice to meet you.
Rob Adams,
So-
nice to
Nice
meet
to
you.
meet you too.
John
Ari-
Kovac, as we continue on here from Manchester.
Ari is artistic director for the Manchester Music Festival, and this is a performance and teaching event.
Yes, we go on year-round. We're in the middle of our summer season, so things are kind of hot and heavy right now. We have 7 concerts on Thursday nights, 6 concerts on Monday nights, and we run through August 22nd, so we're still in full swing.
Now, what sorts of music are being played?
It's mostly classical music, orchestra, chamber music, which are smaller groups, and operatic vocal music. We also branch out into other things, like, for example, this season we had a Led Zeppelin tribute band, and our strings played with them. And
Really?
So
Oh,
we
wow.
really get into all kinds of stuff, basically.
That is great. Now, you mentioned chamber music, and that's what that is. I've never quite known. I've heard the term millions of times. I love music myself. That is what a chamber group is.
Well, you know, chamber, it's an old word for a room.
Right. So,
So-
it's a smaller group.
Basically, it's a smaller group. Supposedly, in an intimate setting, is where the music flourishes the best.
Yeah, it
Okay.
would be like at a house or I know that they do it in New Canaan at the library quite a bit, and they'll have 2-3 string players, maybe a couple of woodwinds, and whatever mix you happen to have there. Now, what do you play?
I play the viola, and I'm also a conductor. So I get to experience 2 very different kinds of music making on a regular basis.
What's your background to get you to this point?
Well, the Reader's Digest version, I assume you want the Reader's Digest version.
I'll take any version you want to
Yeah,
give
I
me.
mean, we got time. I mean,
I don't know how long the sequence goes. I could go
we're
on and
calling
on.
the shots.
Exactly.
Tell
All right.
us.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I grew up in New York. My background is studying piano first for 5 years, and then I went on to viola about age 12, 13. Picked up conducting many, many years later, and actively enjoy both on a regular basis.
Now, a lot of people, I think, see the conductor up there,
Yeah.
and they're just like, what are the gyrations all about? What is going on? Explain what a conductor is doing at the front of an orchestra.
Well, you know, basically, originally, all conductors were doing was to give a larger group of people something to focus in on so they could actually play together if they couldn't hear each other very well in a bigger room. And as orchestras got bigger and bigger and bigger, the role of the conductor seemed to get more and more important. So you have these giant orchestras in the late 19th century or what have you, pieces by Mahler, by Bruckner. You could have hundreds of people on a stage. And how do they focus in an acoustic and listen to, if the timpanist or the drummer is 30 feet or maybe 20 yards or more back of the first violins in the front, who draws them together? That's the basic need and necessity for a conductor, is to bring everybody to a focal point so they can play together more accurately.
Is that what makes a great conductor?
That's a whole different question.
Is it really? Then what does make it?
For me, personally,
Yeah.
they're all different. Everybody's different. But for me, it's the person who gets in the way of the music the least. You're trying to allow the composer, him or her, whoever wrote the music, to have the voice uninterrupted and not messed with too much. So the musicians, who are professionals or not, whatever, that's their job, is to realize the composer's intentions. It's the conductor's job to get in the way as little as possible, offer some advice, a little direction here and there, some sugar and spice, and their own personal taste, which they can to a certain degree, but to stay out of the way.
Who are some of your favorite conductors? Are there conductors who have influenced your style?
Yeah, a couple of them. One in particular I would have to say is Robert Spano. He conducts the Atlanta Symphony. He's among my favorites. He doesn't get in the way of the music.
Interesting.
Now, can musicians learn through the Manchester Music Festival? Or are you really more the established musician coming in? How does that work?
Well, we have programs at a variety of levels that run year-round. So in the summer, we have a resident, what we call Young Artist Program. We have a group of 15 students about age 19 through 24 who are doing nothing but studying chamber music and performing on Monday nights at Burn Academy. Then we have professionals that can circulate in and out over 7 weeks. Different guest artists come in. We have a resident faculty that coach those students that I mentioned. All that goes on for a finite period of time in the summer. After that, we don't close our doors or pick up stakes or pull up stakes like others may, which is kind of why our name Festival is a little misleading.
Yeah.
It might be confusing.
Right.
And that's why we're going to change our name to Music Center in a couple of years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You've got a plan for that?
We're working on it. But we have an after-school string program that teaches kids through the Suzuki method and private lessons. We have outreach into schools where we take small ensembles with kind of often cool, funky instruments to accompany strings and what have you, where kids who would not normally encounter classical music or have no access to it, we try very hard to provide it. And that goes on all year round. We have house concerts, a whole bunch of stuff.
Now, you were a violist originally. What age did you get into that?
Well, both my parents were musicians, so I was kind of in it from the get-go.
Okay.
I was in it from the womb. But I started studying the viola at about age 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is there a right age to get a child involved in music, or is it when they begin to show an interest?
It's basically when they can be calm enough and to handle direction and,
Yeah.
and not be distracted and what have you. So on average, I'd say 5, 6 years old. Earlier than that depends on the maturity of the child. They're all different.
Very cool
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Ari, you're at 42 Dillingham Road?
That's our headquarters, 42 Dillingham up in Manchester Village. We're right down the street and around the corner from Burn Academy. Our door is always open. It's the old village schoolhouse. It's a
Oh, that makes it even cooler.
That's gotta be
it's got,
very
it's got
cool.
the bell tower and the whole thing. It looks very iconic.
When's the
That sounds
next
great.
concert?
Our next concert is Monday night at the Riley Center for the Arts at Burn Academy.
And you're on social media, Facebook, Twitter. You're on all of that as well.
We are, and I'd like to mention that we are also part of the Hills Alive Arts Partnership. That's a social media campaign that brings together Weston Theater, Dorset Theater. Why does this fly like this?
I don't know.
It's
It's been liking
been
me
liked
too as
so
well.
easy. Yeah,
Making the
it's-
rounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's making the rounds.
If you want to check out hillsalive.org, you can learn a lot about us, and you can also learn all about our sister organizations, Dorset Theater, Weston Theater, Northshire Performing Arts, and of course the Southern Vermont Arts Center, which is where our Thursday night concerts take place, and they are our natural host and partner.
That's great.
And we talked about it earlier. We've had a number of artists and creative people on today. This is such an incubator for artistic creativity. Do you find that to be the case?
We find that Southern Vermont increasingly is oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm
It's,
so sorry.
we've been fighting it for, I guess both of us have been fighting it for a while.
I can assure your viewers that I bathe on a regular basis. It's
Same
no
here.
commentary. Artist notwithstanding.
Right.
Southern Vermont has become increasingly a hub for drawing actors, dancers, musicians, and wanting to build out an infrastructure where that is sustainable year-round. It's part of what we think is a vital component of a creative economy. As things get develop and progress, you want to see more, not less, diversification in economic underpinnings.
It seems like it's becoming an integral part, not just of the culture, but of the economy of this area.
Yeah.
It really does.
We hope so. We do pay sales tax these days, so as a not-for-profit, it's an interesting proposition, but we do have to pay sales tax.
And where can folks find you, get in touch with you?
Our website is mmfvt.org. We have an 800 number if you're out of state, 800-639-5868. Locally, 362-1956. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter, and as many other gadgets as we can get our hands on these days in social media.
Pretty much how it has to be. Ari Rudiakov, Artistic Director of the Manchester Music Festival. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
Thank
awesome.
you, Ari. Great
to
to
meet you
talk
both.
to you.